Hey everyone, and welcome to Raw Dogs.
I just love the way you open these episodes, man. It's such a soothing intro. I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Raw Dogs.
Oh, that just ruined it.
Hey, guys. That's my
ruining it now.
Hey everybody, we are talking today about video games again. This is Brad, and this is Raw Dogs, your favorite podcast about chocobos and bunny women and
Sexy
leading men
women.
and iambic pentameter.
Iambic pentameter.
Who else is here?
Dylan, king of all magic stones and crystals.
Stoy, admittedly, a Von hater.
Oh, controversial much.
I don't think it's controversial.
Dude, if you want to be
Come on.
controversial,
I don't think.
you say
He's just talking about how he was such a boomer, and it's the most obvious person to hate of this
Yeah,
cast.
dude, if you said Balthier is overrated, that's
No way.
controversial.
No way. No way.
Balthier's not overrated.
Somehow underrated.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, he should have been the leading man, in my opinion.
Well, he is the leading man.
Yes.
I seem to think so.
Yeah.
Well, I think-
it's just not apparent because obviously you see Von right front and center in this, cover.
We can't even pretend we don't want to talk about the main characters already, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
But first, Dylan is doing a crucial test. We drink beers, the real live beers on this podcast. And Dylan, can you explain about Cool Ice?
So I would say about around 2017, 2018, there was this beer that started showing up in my local little bodega, and it was called Cool Ice, K-U-L with an umlaut above the U.
Was it not K-U-H-L?
No,
No, it was
okay.
okay, yeah. I
it was
remember that.
K-U-L, and it was $2 for a 4-pack.
That's insane.
And
For one. Oh, never mind. Keep going.
now I don't mind drinking piss beer because sometimes I just like to stay hydrated with a beer because I'm not going to get drunk, but I'm going to have that mellowness. And so I bought Cool Ice as kind of like well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to buy this, and if it sucks, I only paid $2 for it. Great. So I get home, and I'm drinking it with Matt, friend of the show, and we're like, this is insane. What is this? I don't
It has
believe
a sweetness, doesn't it?
it almost
did.
to a malt beverage kind of level. And I found today, well, here's the thing. It disappeared. It was bought out very quickly, and all production of it was shut down. I believe the Milson Coors company bought it.
That sounds about right.
And I was perusing some beers to bring today, and I found Jaguar Ice, which looks suspiciously like a Cool Ice can. I locked in. I met its eyes. I met that Jaguar's eyes.
You heard this, like that Jaguar roar in your head.
You realize you're doing it loudly in the aisle with everybody looking at you?
And you dropped your 4-pack of craft beer right then, just on the ground.
And I think 2017, I'm allowed to have nostalgia for that, with the pandemic and stuff. And I'm hoping, beyond all hope, that this might be the Cool Ice recipe hidden behind a new name. And I'm going to test it now.
We're doing a real test.
Yeah. He's never,
haven't
he hasn't
touched it
drank
yet.
this. Hasn't
Nope.
drank this before.
Oh,
Oh, God. It's foaming. He's taking a drink. You can hear it.
no.
No. Okay.
Oh, no.
What does it taste like?
Tastes like fucking malt liquor.
Okay. Does it taste like Bud Ice?
Dylan's so mad.
It tastes like
Like
I don't know. Would you want
Mad
to
Dog?
try it?
No, I'm good.
I
feel
I'm
good about
curious.
my life.
It's
today.
worse than Mad Dog.
Okay, it's worse than Mad Dog. I don't know if I want to try it then.
Well, luckily
It is.
Dylan also brought some good beers.
I did bring a good beer as well.
We have from Olifant Brewing the Somos Extremos. It's a coffee golden ale, one of my favorite styles of beer. I do love light beers with coffee flavor.
So do I.
Everyone's always like, put it in a stout. But actually,
No.
you can taste the coffee beans a lot better in a light beer.
Yeah, I like coffee cream ales. That's kind of one of my go-tos. Third Space, their Java Blanca is always a really good one.
That is just phenomenal.
It's so light and like it doesn't weigh you down.
Oh, yeah, that's crispy.
This is one of my favorite beers I've had this year, maybe. It is just so dang good.
You can get it right at a corner store. And you can also get Jaguar Ice at the corner store. I'm going to drink it.
Pick your poisons. A month ago, we convened and we discussed the making of, the development, and kind of some of the background prehistory of Final Fantasy XII. And this, I was part of the way through the game when we did that episode, and you two, I believe, hadn't really gotten too far or even started yet, possibly.
I know I played it, and I think I messaged you back that I fired up my old save from 2017, and I was like about 12 hours into it. I was like in the Sand Sea, and I was like,
That's a good place to start off, though. You get to cut around the chuff.
yeah.
Well, no, Sand Sea's too far. If it was just the Ester Sand, now the Sand Sea is pretty far.
The Sand Sea is so large that I was like, it was like so long since I last played it. I was like, where am I in the story? What am I doing? Where am I going? Look at all these branching paths. Oh my God. So it was a little bit eye-opening at first, and I had to kind of, I guess, it's nice in the game you can actually go look through the story of what's happened thus far.
Yeah.
Because a lot happens in the first 10 hours. A lot happens.
Did you start a new save, or you just
No,
kept
I didn't. I just kept going.
bold strategy?
Yeah, I know. Usually I would be that guy to be like, it's been too long, I'm just going to start over. But I think at that point I was like,
What
I'll just
about
keep going.
Vaughn's character development?
No.
But you did finish it, that
No.
save out? No.
No.
How far are you right now?
I got to Sid's ending. You know where he pulls out the freaking minigun?
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
So you're at the top then of
Yeah, I think I just got kind of that was a hard boss fight. Because I forgot, it took me a while to realize there was and I don't know if we're talking about that at that point, but there's a particular strategy in the boss fight that I forgot.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
so-
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay. Well, you're almost at the end. You're really just like right before the end of the game.
Yeah, and I
So you're
like I said,
before 3 hours of gameplay and 2 hours of cutscenes.
yeah, I beat it when it came out on the PlayStation 2 years ago, like 20 years ago at this point. So, but obviously I don't remember much, except maybe just the basic, premise of like what happened after the final battle. But
And it was Zodiac Age you were playing, correct? Or what did you play it on?
I played this one on PS4.
You played the PS4.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I switched off between playing it on my PlayStation Portal.
nice.
Yeah,
How was that?
that's
Man, I want one.
I
Is
do
it good?
too.
it. Actually works surprisingly well.
Is
It works
does
surprisingly well.
I heard there's a
It's
new
good, though?
I heard there's a new update they're doing where you can play some games without needing your PS5.
Yeah, you can play cloud games
Okay.
like PS3, so you can play PS3 games. So
I call
yeah.
them clown games.
Yeah, I think that was
Oh, man.
Got them.
yeah.
You need a better bit rate, man. Shit.
How about you, Dylan?
I did not finish it. I've been distracted by Dragon Quest III Remake and a few other things like Metaphor. I got up until the point where Ash and Vaughn are talking about how they saw different things when they touched the Magicite.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not
and
that
they're
far.
they're on the bridge, and then they were just talking and chatting it up, and they're like, "Hey, we shouldn't tell any of these fuckers that we're seeing like ghosts and shit because people have gone insane from that, including Balthier's dad."
Yep.
So you never know. I don't know. I found myself kind of like lagging on it. I enjoy it, but it was also
It's tough when you're also playing two other games that you'd rather be playing.
especially
someone
a
on the
big
podcast
RPG.
got to play new games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just beat Spider-Man 2.
Nice. Do you still have the hard copy?
Yep.
Is it Tyler's?
No, it's mine.
Can I borrow it?
Yep.
Thank you.
Only after you beat FF12 though.
Oh no.
So I have a fair amount of notes. We're going to talk mostly kind of through the story, and then we will discuss gameplay as it comes up.
Yeah.
I took notes too because I was like writing things down as I was playing them. Like this is worth mentioning, or this is worth remembering. So I will also be following along my own.
We start off with Bosch and Rex. We have the tutorial segment, and that is, it's not in Rabanastre. That's in the Nalbina Fortress. And you play as Rex, who is somehow as lame as Vaughn. And
Oh god.
They're truly related.
it's the rosy cheeks. I think it's the rosy cheeks that really throw me off of both of them.
Yeah, and it's like the pointed nose, you know,
Well,
the
he's a white
upturned
guy in the
pointed
hot
nose.
sun all
Yeah,
day,
right,
man.
yeah.
That's how I work.
3 years before that, there was a plague that swept through Rabanastre. Rex and Vaughn are orphans. And yes, so there is the empires of Arcadia and Rosaria are at war. Dalmasca, a small kingdom, is caught between the warring nations. Dalmasca had its heir, Princess Ashe, marry Prince Rastler of the small kingdom of Nebradia so that they could stand against imperial oppression. Arcadia moves to steal the royal heirloom known as the Midlight Shard that has been passed down from Wraithwall. We remember Wraithwall. A mysterious event occurs in the entire capital of Nebradia. Nabudis is reduced to ashes. We find out later that was Redis. He was instructed to use it there and destroyed an entire city.
Oh, it skipped ahead.
I jumped ahead there.
Way ahead.
That's fine.
That's okay. Spoiler alert.
Rastler was shot with an arrow at the Battle of Nabuna Fortress and killed. Dalmasca is captured and King Romanus agrees to sign a treaty, a ruse to kill the king. Captain Bosch leads the remains of the Order of the Knights to save him, including his old friend Vossler and the young soldier Rex. When annexed by Arcadia, the Princess Ashe creates a resistance movement. The tutorial, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
I don't think it's bad. I remember playing the first version of the game on PlayStation 2, and my friend Dunks had it, and he's like, I wasn't feeling it, and so we always hung out in his basement, and I plugged it in, Jesus Christ, and I started playing the game, and I'm like, this. First of all, it didn't feel very Final Fantasy to me at all.
No.
I'll agree with that.
And it kind of took me back. And I remember that the tutorial was actually pretty fucking confusing.
It's confusing in that they don't let you see at all what the gameplay loop is going to be.
No.
For the first 6 hours of this game.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. The especially since, like, you know, the story didn't start with any of the main characters. And, you know, all of a sudden you're just thrust into this world that's like, okay, all right, you know, you're in these dungeons, and then all of a sudden it twists. And then it completely shifts to a completely different part of the game with different characters. And the tone shifts so much in Final Fantasy XII.
Yeah.
You know, of just like lighthearted campiness to, like, you know, depressing seriousness. So I remember the same thing when I played it. I was like, so what kind of Final Fantasy is this? You know, it's
Right.
Well,
I would describe it as lore bukkake. Like, that's a term we use on this.
yeah.
And it's just like, it's an immediate splatter to the face, and you are just very confused as to what character relationships are. Mm-hmm. You know what you're supposed to be doing because they give you little map objectives, but
Yeah.
you're also like, why am I interested in what we're doing here?
I don't think it works in that it doesn't teach us about the gameplay of the game. It teaches us how to attack, which I don't need that. And actually clicking attack and using items every time you want to do something becomes not what the game is about at all.
No, you can auto set all of that.
yeah.
Well, and it's the combat for a good chunk of the beginning. It's just attack and potion, and
That's most Final Fantasies, though.
you know that's most Final Fantasies though.
Every JRPG, you
It'd be
start
like
out
that.
being kind of like the underpowered dipshit until you get that one spell that changes the entire thing.
Just cast Ultima every time.
Oh, sure.
I
yeah.
do like the story that it starts fast
Yeah.
and that things happen. I like that we don't know why Bosch, who we see on the cover of the game, like why is he killing the king? And I like that it moves fast and there's political intrigue. I like all that stuff. At one point,
That is
you're in a
cool.
battle and Bosch just does a Kamehameha and they don't explain it at all.
No,
Yeah.
don't have to.
Yep.
It's Final Fantasy. Like
It's Final Fantasy.
if you've played a Final Fantasy game, you have it already in your head that a lot of this stuff is all. It can be as nuts as it wants right off the bat.
Is once you get your full mist quickenings and all of a sudden Vaughn is summoning meteors with his hands and throwing them. I'm like,
It's nuts.
I don't
Yeah.
know if this
I don't think that kid can do that.
No, he can't. He's imagining it.
I mean, he's pretty cut, but he's lithe cut. I don't think he can lift that shit.
dude, you don't need to be a sky prior if you're already a fucking sorcerer supreme.
Exactly.
Why are you still drinking that?
I don't like wasting things.
Okay.
I'm the same way. For me, not to finish a beer I've opened would be very difficult.
That is true.
I'm truly trying to finish this first so I can get back to the coffee golden ale.
Okay.
But I also have this to kind of help. It's my sparkling grapefruit ginger drink.
Oh yeah, that'll help soothe the stomach.
Yeah,
In between sips.
This is bad. I've got 3 more of these
Oh my god.
at home.
and he'll drink them.
Well,
I'll drink them, but I'll also be like, I'll create little dares for myself. Like, hey, I bet you if you can't beat this boss in Dragon Quest 3, you have to drink one whole one within 5 minutes.
that'll motivate you.
Do you not beat bosses in that game sometimes? Is it tough?
There are some tough fights. I'm actually playing on hard
Oh,
for Dragon Quest because that's actually the desired.
To me, hard should be standard for RPGs.
Yeah,
Normal mode RPG is essentially like bowling with gutter railings.
I tried. So you can, speaking of like auto battling, Dragon Quest 3 has auto battle now.
We're not going to talk about
Oh
Dragon
my
Quest
God.
3, Dylan.
Oh my God.
And leave metaphor at the door, bro.
Oh man, I'm not going to talk about metaphor. Don't worry.
you guys want to talk about Dragon Age?
We're going to run through the characters briefly because we've already seen almost all of them. Ashelia, Banargan, Dalmasca. I do love how ridiculous some of their names are. Banargan.
Gorbachev.
Yeah. Ashelia Gorbachev. And Bosch von Drumpf. No. Ashelia, 8 brothers of her past, leaving her the only child of King Ramana. She actually has 8 brothers, which was kind of weird.
And they all fucking croaked.
Damn.
Somehow. She's the last descendant of King Wraithwall that's living. She's 19. The Japanese version of this game has a more explicit romantic attraction to Balthier for her, whereas the American one barely hints at one time.
That's
Really?
That's kind of gross.
What?
A romantic relationship?
Attraction.
Traction? Okay.
You think it's gross being attracted to Balthier?
But they're also like
Oh,
adults.
Balthier, you said. I thought you said Bosch. I was like, woo, that's gross. Anyway.
He's 28, dude. That's not that gross.
Yeah, I suppose. He just
Bosch-
looks like
Bosch
Bosch
is
looks
a-
like he's 45.
Bosch is a rough 28.
He has been
Well, he's
starved
seen-
in prison for 2 years.
He
True,
has
but
seen and
even in
been
the
through some
opening.
shit, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Balthier I can get behind. Balthier I can get behind.
Actually, I lied. Bosch isn't 28. He's 36. So he's
Oh,
okay, that
Jesus
makes sense.
Christ.
he's the
I was
grizzled
like,
age
oh.
of me.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
He accomplished a lot
Do
more.
you not like when I'm playing games now and there's always like the old person in like the JRPG and they're like, oh,
Orin?
he's fucking old as shit. And you're like, oh, he's 32. Oh, I'm older than Barrett. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Wait, Sid
Barrett-
is 32.
We're older than all of them.
God damn it.
Dude, we're like Sephiroth's age.
Oh man.
Dude, we're nearing Palmer levels of old.
I don't look as I'm not gonna look as
Yeah,
pretty.
Palmer's
as that.
42, isn't he? Ugh.
Bosch von
likes
Ronsenberg.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Bosch is probably the only character we know his full name because of Von. Bosch von Ronsenberg is from the neighboring Republic of Landis, has a twin brother named Noah that will never show up. At 17 years old, Landis is annexed by Arcadia, causing Bosch to flee to Dalmasca while his brother stays and joins the invaders. He's kind of your quintessential honorable knight. Original story drafts had Bosch as the main character, which I don't think would have been right either, and I don't think Balthier should be.
He's not much of a cipher.
Yeah.
I agree Vaughn should be the main character. I think he's criminally underwritten, though.
I think Ash should have been the main character.
Ash
to be
should have been the main
completely
character. I
honest with
agree,
you.
yeah.
The whole story revolves truly around her and her like identity. It could have been like a Final Fantasy VI thing where Terra and Ceres.
Yeah.
Have you guys played 6?
No,
A long time ago.
Okay.
that might
Well,
be next year.
The story is told in 2 parts, but it's first part through Terra, second part through Ceres. And we need more female protagonists that aren't fucking lightning.
What about Pinello?
Pinello is a strange one because her inclusion, I don't know what her inclusion really brings to the table,
Dude,
other than the fact that
She's just like a skin tag, basically. She
Vaughn
just,
would
like,
be
tags-
Vaughn would be the worst written character ever if it wasn't for Pinello being there as well.
Yeah.
she's like, you dipshit.
That's her whole thing, though.
She just calls him a dipshit and like, what are you doing?
Her and Vaughn are like just the two like orphans that somehow are still on the ship, and no one tells them not to come.
Yeah, they're like the little kids where everyone looks at them kind of wrestling on the beach, and they're like, haha, they're so cute.
Well, it seems to me that the reason that Vaughn ends up truly getting involved in the story is pure happenstance. There's nothing like, he doesn't have like a special skill to add to like being like a sky pirate or anything like that. He's just a little thief guy. He's Aladdin.
He's got a little bit of a story baked in where he needs to accept Bosch as the person who might have killed his brother.
Yeah.
And he's like fighting for Rabanastre. He's fighting to like overcome his station in life. There could be.
He wants to clear his brother's name because obviously after the whole, king slaying,
and
his
he was
brother's name
involved.
was dragged through the mud after that whole process. So
And nobody gets exonerated at the end, though.
Nope.
From what I remember.
the problem is there's just so many better, more interesting characters surrounding him that they get very lost in the shuffle. And if it wasn't for me having to play as Vaughn in the city sections, I would not have seen him or Pinello barely at all.
I like Ash the most. I think for the time, especially, she was written very maturely and not like overly like sexualized or
So good.
and
really.
And she was given.
She's only wearing a dinner napkin,
Nobody-
but she's not sexualized. about
Nobody questioned her because she was a girl at any point. They were just like she was just the princess or Amalia.
There's no explicit sexual attractions or romantic interests at all, other than Ashalia or Amalia, both of them.
Ash and
Dagger.
Amalia together. Yeah, I
Garnet.
like that.
Well, just Ash seeing visions of her
Amalia.
former husband is like pretty much it. And the fact that Balthier and Fran, they're just homies, so good.
Yeah.
And the fact that Vaughn doesn't make one pass at Ash, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, so refreshing when there's usually so much melodrama and
I kind of got like a brother-sister thing between Ash and Vaughn towards the end of the full playthrough I did. She actually kind of has this very like nurturing side.
Like an older sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Whereas when she like interacts with Pinello, I don't think she's nearly as close.
I don't know if she does a lot of interacting with Pinello.
I
It's
don't
like
think so.
I counted 2 times, I believe.
Pinello
In my
interacts
head.
with Vaughn and Larsa,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, yeah, like you were saying, like they just do like, oh, Vaughn.
Oh, look at them.
And
So
meanwhile,
cute.
Balthier's like, my father is Sid.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just
I
dropping.
used to be a judge.
I was in prison for 2 years. I am not the king's murderer. I want to be a pirate someday.
Well, what I really love about this game, though, is that it doesn't go to the extreme lengths that a lot of other Final Fantasies do, where it's not like, there are monsters coming from the moon in 8 or a meteor coming down on Earth in 7. What's cool about this is, and especially a lot of the Evil East games in general, you're seeing a very specific snapshot of history and the events that are secret and behind it. So I actually really appreciate that, and I think that it works brilliantly in this context because at the end, it is what I would describe as a happy ending, but it's also kind of a bittersweet, kind of weird ending
Yeah.
because that's what life is. Like things continue past the happy ending.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. I appreciated it for what it was.
Yeah.
Games don't do that.
Yeah, there was a lot that happened behind the scenes, like outside of the party. That's why I like this so much, is that the story is more than just the characters that you're playing as. There's so much political intrigue happening behind the scenes that have nothing to do even with your characters at all.
No.
Here is 5 judges you haven't met before. They're
Yep.
going to be talking about names you don't know. Good luck.
Yep, and they're going to be doing things like
That
in
part was
cutscenes
rough.
or even just like a mention, like, oh yeah, so this country just invaded this other country just now. Like,
It is
what?
the problem of the Senate. And I'm like, whoa, where are we?
Yeah, so we're just going to abolish the Senate.
Somehow I was able to keep up with the story this time around. Maybe I was too high in 2020 because I didn't have a job and I was getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah, brother.
And this time I was able to really grasp a lot of like the names a little bit easier because I wasn't questioning whether or not what's the judge with the F name.
I wrote his name down.
See,
too.
exactly. Like
There's
I had to write all their
There's
names.
Gabranth. There's
yeah.
Zargabanth.
Yep.
There is Brass.
I keep hearing fuff.
No, I don't remember any judges with F. There's Judge Zecht. There's Judge Famrin.
Famrin.
Nope, Famrin is Balthier. You're not thinking of Balthier.
No, I'm not thinking both here. Who's the first judge that you face?
Judge Geese.
Just Geese, yeah.
G's and F's. I have no clue.
Untitled Geese game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vaughn is 17. We mentioned he's 7. He's a street orphan. He is seen as a fraternal figure to the younger orphans. Speaking of Vaughn's popularity, the first Dissidia game rejected Vaughn and put Gabranth in as the character.
So Bosch.
No, Gabranth.
Wait, but the first Dissidia...
Gabranth is Noah.
There's a bad... I know that, but there's always a good guy and a bad guy from each game represented.
They just had one in the first Dissidia.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it was both.
Okay.
Yep.
I played it on my friend's PSP, but...
And I also put down he has the tiniest vest ever made. I guess he probably was given one vest when he was 7.
Honestly,
and
he's
didn't get another one.
Dude, he's a white guy in the hot sun, and it looks like he just didn't want his nipples to get like hit by sandstorms or something.
It's strictly a nipple vest. That's
It
the
is a
only thing they
nipple
cover.
vest.
100%
But hey,
nipple
you know,
vest, yeah.
It's better than the full pantsuit that Pinello has. That seems
Pinello's-
like it'd be hot.
It's also hard to pee in.
Yeah.
If it's one suit,
Well,
it's like a romper. Pinello that's not practical.
Well, let's find a zipper on there. There's got to be a zipper in there somewhere.
You know, something that doesn't matter, but it does, is also when you go to like the snowy mountains and no one just has a clothing change.
Yep.
It always bothers
That's always
me.
bothered me about
Yes.
video games.
Yep. Unless, because it something that Death Stranding does so well is that you have to adapt to every environment. But I don't know. Final Fantasy X had that problem big time because Titus is also one of those half-dressed dudes, and then you're going up into those mountains, and he's just like, "Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to a southern climate, but this will work too."
Yeah.
Yeah, this basketball net for a pants or that'll suit me fine. Yeah, I don't see a zipper in this jumper.
It's probably hidden underneath the flap.
Probably, yeah.
She's 16, Pinello.
Okay, I'm gonna stop looking for a zipper.
Vaughn's childhood friend. Now, this is already more than we learn in the game. Dreams of becoming a dancer.
Good for her.
And she learned martial arts from her brothers. We don't know any of that from the game. And that
Wow.
This is the complete story arc for Pinello already.
So maybe she should be the main character.
Yeah. Balthier, the leading man, 22 years old. Real name, Famran Mead Bonanza, which we only hear Famran once. He's a sky pirate with a past, suffice it to say. And Fran, we don't know how old she is. She's at least 50. Due to the Vieira feet structure, they must wear stilettos for shoes. That's not a fashion choice. That is a aspect of their...
Baked in.
Yeah. She left her...
That just reminds me of like how quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5. Why is she wearing practically nothing? Well, she breathes through her skin.
She does, and it's super rad.
Yeah, it's super rad.
I love quiet.
No complaints here. Anyway.
I love her.
She left her homeland and is traveling with Balthier. We're in Rabbit.
I wish we had an origin story for them. I wish I had a bit more of like, hey, how'd you guys like meet up and have a good time and like...
Not necessary.
I don't think...
We didn't need
I like
Solo
to
to
want-
say how
Right.
Chewbacca met Han.
No, you're right.
It's fine. I actually like Solo, but
Well,
we
let's
didn't
not
need
compare
it at all.
Fran to Chewbacca. There's a little more nuance.
Well, let's
in
not-
there.
I mean,
Let's talk about Star Wars.
See that's the thing, because I actually found there were huge I think we talked about this in the last episode. There are huge correlations to Star Wars and this.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And Fran and Balthier were my Han Solo and Chewbacca, 100%.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like...
It's hard not to see them when they're
Yeah.
flying a ship together, and she's like the co-pilot, and she's not the same race as the other characters.
Yeah.
You want to put it together. Chewbacca was not that hot. He was pretty hot.
Well, Chewbacca is treated mostly like a pet.
I want to shave a Wookiee and see what's really.
Oh,
happening.
God, yeah, that'd be awesome. They probably
What if
just
they're-
look like ogres.
What if
Dude,
they're
their
like
face
dummy
would
thick?
be horrible, dude.
Yeah. But they
They
got a
look like
dummy
dog
thick
people.
ass.
Dummy thick ass. I think he was pretty flat.
They have.
I don't know. The fur could like conceal a lot.
They have
That's true.
said that.
That's what I tell my wife.
There's a lot of fur back here.
They've said Star Wars is not anything they considered or a direct influence. I think some of the story beats definitely line up.
I think that's just Campbellian myth, though. I think that's just archetypes that exist throughout all storytelling in general. I found similarities too, but I also don't think that this follows the plot structure of any fucking Star Wars at all.
If Vaughn somewhere through the story found out that he's actually the illegitimate son of Vane's father or something, and all of a sudden Vaughn matters as a character, or he's another descendant of Wraithwall through a different line, fuck, I just wrote a better story for Vaughn already.
This has more in common with like Game of Thrones than it would for Star Wars.
Yeah, this was before Game of Thrones.
When he picks up the
the books were out in like 96.
Yeah.
Oh, they were? Okay.
They've been out for a while, dude. Like 93 is Game of Thrones.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If Vaughn picked up the Magicite and it reacted to him because he was like a descendant of Wraithwall or something, that would have been so much more interesting. And he still didn't know what that meant for like another 10 hours until someone's like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's what I was waiting throughout the entirety of this game. Like, can someone please explain to me why Vaughn is so important in this story? And like, yeah, you're expecting this grand revelation at the end where it's like, yeah, he is a descendant of King Wraithwall somehow. And he's like, Princess Ash's like long lost relative or something like that or whatever.
They could have been brother and sister or something. Maybe her dad was fooling around.
Yeah.
An illegitimate kid, a bastard.
And that could have caused tension where she's like, my father would never do that.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, yeah, well, he left my mom. So
yeah.
That
and
maid had
and then all of a sudden the dust shard reacts to him and then he's like, see?
Oh, that would actually. I also like
Penelo was really a bonga in disguise. She was a lizard person.
Whoa.
And then she stabs Balthier in the back.
It's like an opening to
Finally
Mission,
got you.
It's like an opening to Mission Impossible.
And
then the note just slides out.
Vaughn, it's me, Bagamnon, actually.
I finally got you.
I got you now. We're in
Do you
Rabanash.
like my saw stick?
It's a cool
That
weapon.
is so
It's a
cool. That
cool
is
weapon.
so cool.
It
I
is
love
such a
that.
good
Yeah, he
weapon.
slaps that thing on it. Oh man.
They actually end up using that.
That's an Inquisitor wheel in Elden Ring. I think it's also in maybe another Souls game at least.
So in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, the main character has that weapon as well, but it's like a more advanced version of it. And you said that this takes place the earliest in Ivalice.
Yes, it was released.
It
It was released after Tactics Advance, though. Tactics Advance
Right.
did come first, which is where we saw some of those races beforehand.
In
But
Mont Blanc.
this is the earliest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We start with Vaughn hunting rats in the waterway.
Man, we haven't even gotten to the main parts of the story yet. Holy cow.
Vaughn steals their pouch, and we like Vaughn. I like him initially. He's an orphan who steals from the Empire. He's like, fuck them.
Bit of a Robin Hood type, an Aladdin.
He's looking out for the other orphans under there. I get it.
Yeah, that's cool.
He immediately is getting chased by guards. That's Aladdin. You like that. And then Penel's like, Vaughn.
Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh, what? Am I the leader now?
This is for that bread you took the other day. Just because I help Miguelo out every now and then, it doesn't mean that you get to eat for free too, you know.
I know that. You think I like living like this?
It's like, I'm the little sister archetype, and I'm going to chastise you wherever you go and whatever you do. And
You would die if I wasn't here.
I don't think he would. I think he's actually pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit of also, I think the reason he wants to become a pro thief is he wants to make a bigger impact.
He doesn't like the status quo. I mean, his homeland is taken over by a subjugating force and his brother was killed. He's super mad about the whole situation.
Oh,
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd like that he says, fuck you, I'm going to go steal from the palace. Like, dude, that's a pretty big move for a 17-year-old.
What's the saying? You can't steal what wasn't yours in the first place. You know?
He says something like
He says
that.
something like
He
that.
does, yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I can totally get behind you with that.
I remember that quote because
Yeah.
I actually remember thinking about that, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty deep, man.
Yeah, wow.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We get introduced to the shops here. If anyone
Shops.
has, I mean, there's weapon, armor.
Sure.
That's standard stuff. Magic. Now, the magic system you need to either find your spells or buy your spells. Just unlocking them on your license board is not enough.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because it's like studying a book. It's like you have to be taught how to do this. You can't just innately learn it out of nowhere, which I actually think is very sophisticated and really interesting. It also gives you a better level of satisfaction for when you finally have like that bitchin' spell that can totally wipe a screen of characters.
You're waiting for haste so long.
Oh, haste.
Yeah.
But then you're not sure if you missed it or not. I wish, because they're very easy to miss magic you find.
You can go back to them in Zodiac, right?
Well, you have to, some of them you don't buy. You can only find them in the wild. And they're generally not random chests. But
no,
if you don't talking about chests, eventually I quit opening them because there was so many garbage chests.
That is an issue with this game, but also like when you find something good, it feels so awesome. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when they introduce me to like a new map, I've got to go to every little corner of it. I got to see what it's all about because you might find something important.
But the way the chest system works, 95% of them are random. And not only
just
then,
getting potions,
but the percentages are so fucking low. And to me, the problem is I saw after getting 10 gil like 200 times, I'm like, I don't need it any more things. I'm not going to open more chests.
No.
I think what they could have done is something that they did in Destiny that I really like is they have different color for the engrams. So if I saw a blue chest or a pink chest, I know, oh, this is going to be something worth my time a little more.
Maybe the design of the chest changes.
Yeah.
Like you get your standard shabby one up until like a gold one with like maybe like horns coming out the side.
Like God of War or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Like that.
That'd be, I think, a better way to, because I'm a big fan of every game. Like a guide becomes a little useless when you don't know you can't say what's in the chest.
Right.
Which I like playing without a guide.
But a guide will tell you where to get like the critical items, right?
Right. But a lot of items are random drops here.
Oh, sure.
And
that's the same for a lot of things, I suppose.
I just wish there would be a way to delineate when chests might have something better.
Well, and that was the nice thing about, if you were to go out into the world and start to grind, like you can actually revisit areas and those chests are, kind of repopulated into the world. So like you can kind of keep spamming to see if you get something good. I mean, if you're into gambling.
This is also, I would describe this game as it's extremely MMO like focused. Like the tasks you do and what you're doing. When I was playing Final Fantasy XIV, all I could think was, this just reminds me of Final Fantasy XII all the way through. It doesn't take place in Ivalice, but
at some point it does. Final Fantasy XIV has a whole Ivalice DLC.
I never got that far.
Which it's in an alternate verse, but it is Ivalice with a lot of the same character types. Sorry,
I think I actually made it to that expansion. Because there's a lot of light world and dark world.
There's also Assassin's Creed in there. It's like whatever. I can't keep up.
We're going to the Assassins Festival, Noctis.
There's technique stores. I don't like that you have to buy your gambits. Like a gambit store is a horrible concept to me.
Yeah.
There's at one point where all of a sudden I have 20,000 gil, and I think it was in Nalbana where you could just buy every gambit. And I was like, I'm going to have to do this at some point. And they're like 50 gil each. So it's just a time tax of me selecting every fucking one.
Yeah.
They just wanted more ways to expend currency. That's basically it.
To me, the whole gambits, all of those should have been unlocked. And this was my idea to make it more interesting. Have like gambit sets. Like this is the Blue Mage set, and it comes with like 10 gambits on there. And it kind of lets you know if you want to have your character be a thief. Here's like a gambit set, and then they could be blacked out if you don't have the spell or something yet, and you could make adjustments. That would be a better way to use that store. And also, I think, encourage people to try other things than enemy attack if health less than 50% heal. Which is 95% of what you need.
I honestly think that the way to round out what this combat system was doing is also if you made the social aspect between all these characters more prevalent. So like if the more they interacted with each other, the more they learned from each other. And so you could gain gambits that way. That's actually my preferred method of these things because then it forces you to use all of your characters and then to see how they interact with each other.
Didn't we see this in a recent Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
Yeah, actually, yeah. That does exist. Yeah.
Where it was like the more you kind of combined
certain characters,
they created bonds or something like that.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
yeah,
and I
think
think that
works.
works.
Concept.
If I like that idea too, as long as you're explaining to me actually what's occurring. Mm-hmm. Because in 7 Rebirth, I was kind of like, I don't know if they like me that much. There's a smiley face. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, at least they like me.
Mm-hmm. You were only checking that smiley face to see who would show up at the door at the haunted mansion hotel.
For some reason, I was really mean to Aerith a lot
Why?
because I wanted Tifa to be showing up at my door.
I like Aerith.
I wanted Tifa to show up at my door too, so it was okay.
There's a weird thing with grimoires or monographs, depending on which version you play. After you speak with a certain shop a number of times, you get a new bizarre item unlocked. And if you buy the Forgotten monograph or the Sage's monograph, this unlocks better item drops for a whole class of enemies. These are better to get early on because then you're going to get higher quality loot.
That's also really confusing.
Yeah.
It is. And they don't explain it at all for a while.
No, they don't.
But if you just go to the weapon store, talk 20 times and back out, you'll get a new item unlocked.
They expected that to be a natural occurrence somehow.
Yeah.
Well, it would be because
Something
eventually
you
you would go
discover.
talk to a weapon store 20 times naturally.
Any
and
weapon
then
store.
Any weapon
Oh,
store.
anyway. Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was just the same one.
Oh,
20
yeah,
times.
I wouldn't do that.
And then,
wouldn't, yeah.
and then it still costs like 20,000 gil, which is a lot at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something else that happens there. We get introduced to John DiMaggio's Miguelo. God bless you, John
love
DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio.
Shows up and just drops an amazing voice for a small character. We get introduced to the clan with Mont Blanc. This is just for hunts. You don't have to do much with them if you don't want to. This is actually the only time you have to interact with the clan. Mm-hmm. But you go to the bar and you get your first bill for a rogue tomato. Which, one of the better hunts of the game, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the tomato's gone rogue.
I mean, look, man, if they've got big sharp teeth, what are you gonna fucking do?
Yeah.
Flan, they just look dirty and slimy. I would go fuck some flan up. I want to
Cast
eat
fire the entire time, yeah.
I kind of want to eat a flan.
I think it was the bestiary. I looked through the bestiary a little bit, and they talked about the flan, like named after the delicious dessert.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Do you think it would taste like gelatin?
I actually think it's more of like a sub-Newtonian gummy.
Yeah, a little bit firmer.
I think
Yeah.
it would have properties that might fuck you up too, like other gummies.
Well,
It's got a lot of aphrodisiac qualities in it.
Depends that.
If you want to go that way, I was just thinking more like a weed gummy.
Oh, okay.
You're like, that flan turns me on.
That flan makes me fly really high.
That flan makes me not physically able to get off my couch.
That flan does not make me feel feelings anymore.
We do go to the Esther Stand and we learn about the open world fighting. We learn about the active dimension battle system a little bit more here. And we get introduced quickly to a giant T-Rex, the Saurian, who has got a green life bar, which means not aggressive. Mm-hmm. You attack it, right? You want to see what happens? I attacked it.
I attacked it.
I kill kind of everything when I'm playing
Yeah.
the Final Fantasy because there's not a lot of choice making to be had. You might as well just fucking do it.
Problem is, it's extremely overpowered.
Yeah, and then you get fucking crushed.
Yeah, 3 hits and all your characters are done. And it's like, well, that was a waste.
It's a good learning experience though, and it also teaches you that sometimes if the enemy looks like it's too powerful, it actually might be too powerful.
Fuck around and find out.
Exactly.
So we go out and fight this tomato. We get back into town, and Vane is having a welcoming parade there, and it's pretty obvious this is our bad guy.
It's his fucking dipshit hair.
Yeah.
His name is Vane.
He's so vain.
Yeah,
I bet he thinks that song is actually about him.
dude.
Don't you.
This song was about me.
It's true. Carly Simon said so.
The third son of Lord Gramis, his two elder brothers were branded traitors and killed by Vane at the request of his father. So Vane's got a checkered past. He masterminded the invasions of Nabradia and Damascus to gain the Dusk and Midlight shards, and it was his plan to frame Captain Bosch as a traitor. We learn these things here in a little bit.
And he comes up and he's like, I'm trying to help you guys.
I give you your new consul, His Imperial Highness Lord Vane Solidor, Commandant of the Arcadian Empire's Western on... Your Excellency.
People of Rabanastre, is it with hatred you look upon your consul? With hatred you look upon the Empire?
Spit on your empire! Back to Arcadia!
There was little point in asking. But know this, I harbor no idle hopes of frustrating that hatred. Nor shall I ask your fealty. I would ask only that you do your king honor. Together let us embrace the peace His Majesty would surely desire. Though King Ramanas and Lady Ash be gone, they stand ever at the side of their people. In honoring peace, you do honor to their memory and to Dalmasca. What I ask plain. My hopes now rest with you.
That little speech, it's like, I'm trying to unite everybody. Fuck off.
People of Rabanastre, I seek peace.
He's funny. He's so foppish and stupid.
Yeah.
If I saw that man's face, I wouldn't have him be my fucking emperor.
They needed to play it a little more coy about him being a bad guy.
It is slacked on. It is like cock. It's like it's immediately just like, oh yeah, bad guy.
Most of the storytelling is pretty subtle and well done. This though, it's just like
It's like whoa.
I would say definitely it's the hair.
it's the same thing when
definitely there.
Seymour Guado shows up.
Yeah. Well, a
That's-
name like Seymour.
He's got the biggest V-cut robe and the dumbest hair. I'm like, oh, he's clearly a bad guy, right?
And it's like somehow wavy and curly. Like he
Well,
got
if you've
like
played enough Final Fantasy games in your life,
yeah.
you know they know how to make a villain.
The prettiest boys are also the ones who tend to be the villains.
Generally don't have beards.
Nope.
No.
Very
Beards are
clean-shaven.
reserved for the cool old man type, maybe
Yeah.
30 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Vaughn wants to break into the Arcadian consul's residence in the palace to take back the treasures that were stolen by the Empire. We go down to the low town and meet Old Dallin, which I guess he must be almost 40 years old because he's Old Dallin.
Yeah, and he can't even get up.
This
That's how it is when you're 40.
My friends, they actually adopted some kids from Granada, and they came to visit. And we were walking around, and I'm a man child, and these little fuckers were like, I was like, you guys want to play on the jungle gym? And they're like, you can't. I'm like, why? And they said, because
because of structural integrity, buddy.
it's because your bones are going to hurt. Like, they speak English very well, but they're also like, your bones are too bad for them. And I'm like, well, screw you. And then I tried to do the monkey bars, and I was like, oh, no, I don't like this.
Watch this, kid.
Dude, monkey bars don't work anymore.
No, they don't work.
No.
They're broken. I think something broke on them because I haven't changed. I'm still the same person.
I'm also not that much fatter than I was 2 years ago when I was able to do it.
Can you still do a pull-up?
I can do a pull-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as I'm doing it, backs facing out.
I don't know when I lost the ability to do a full set of monkey bars, but that is gone. I watch American Ninja Warrior. I'm like, easy. Nope. I would suck.
I have a job where I have to lift very heavy things.
And you got a grip?
I've got a great
Imagine,
grip.
yeah.
Now I watch that new show, Humans versus Hamsters, on Netflix. I'm like, I don't know.
fuck is
Humans,
that?
what?
They have the same obstacle course for humans, then a scaled one down to hamsters.
Oh, I am watching that tonight.
and it's
Is it
hosted
good?
by one of the
That's
SNL characters, SNL performers, Sarah Sherman.
What? Are you fucking kidding me? This exists?
Trust me, it's got the same problems as every other reality show, but there are at least hamsters about it.
Okay.
Oh, I like hamsters.
Yeah.
They're cute.
Dallin says if you want to break into the palace, you're going to need a sunstone. And this
Pronounced
is
Dylan.
Old Dylan.
Old Dylan.
Old Dylan. Can't monkey bar like you used to.
No way, man.
But he can get you into the palace.
You need a sunstone to get in because old Dylan knows everything.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He's like, when I was a younger man, there was a thing called cool ice.
Well, that's what I told the kids before I got them drunk on pizza and made them watch Ponyo.
That's a good movie for young children.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Because it kept them shut up.
Yeah.
I love those kids, though.
So, I mean, the Giza Plains, at this point, we're able to choose a license board. I chose, like, the thief class for Vaughn.
Mm-hmm. It fits him the most. Mm-hmm. I did fuck around a lot because I kind of wanted characters to maybe not be what they're supposed to be because it made the game a little more interesting. Because you always choose, like, Knight for Bosch.
Like, Fran should have a bow.
Yeah, she's always an archer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She looks like she's built for it. But I did make her a thief too. I liked the stats on her for that because she was already pretty agile to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We still don't have any gambits. We're still out there manually attacking everything. The Giza Plains, I think, is the only slow point of the most of the game. It's where you feel like that, like beginning fatigue. It's not 10 hours in Kingdom Hearts 2 or whatever, but it is enough. And
Kingdom Hearts 2. You guys want to eat another lollipop on the clock tower? Jesus Christ.
I am really glad I don't get that reference.
Don't tempt me. Pinello finds us in the Giza Plains, and she joins us as well. And still no gambits, but
she's the baby sister.
The heist takes us into the Garam Scythe Waterway and the Royal Palace. We don't go with Pinello here. And she says, be careful. You're fucking going into the White House and you're trying to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Well, we're not thieves. We're more, what was the line? We're more protectors.
You're Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
This belongs in a museum.
So do you.
Yeah, Han Solo, almost 30 years old. Such an old man.
Yeah.
We get introduced to Balthier and Fran.
Oh, quite a performance.
Who are you?
I play the leading man. Who else? Fran, the Magicite.
Now then, I'll take that.
No, you won't. I found it. It's mine.
And then when I take it from you, it'll be mine. Exit stage right.
The gods do not smile on us.
I like it better that way.
They run into Vaughn, and I love Fran says, the gods do not smile on us, and Balthier goes, I like it better that way. I'm like, okay.
That's my dude.
Yeah, that's my dude. Yeah.
That's my dude right there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They're here to steal treasure as well. This is great. This is how characters meet each other. They separate motivations. They run into each other, and they're thrown together through fate, chance. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. You do kind of split up from them for a little bit, and we get Vaughn's superhero trait. It's yelling at people. When he has to yell at guards to lure him certain spots, it's
hey,
you guys, I'm over here. And he runs away from them.
His run animation is dorky as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he never led the party when I had him.
That's why you are not the main character.
I don't want to stare at this guy's tiny vest back and his fucking shitty pants.
Nope. His character is already peaked. He is as cool as he gets, and it's all downhill from here. In the treasure room, he finds the goddess's magicite, also known as the Dusk Shard. This is a piece of de-affected nethicite cut from the Suncrist by King Wraithwall. There are 3 shards.
Lord Bukaki.
Yes. 3 shards used by
Remember
Wraithwall.
this is important for later on.
To unite Ivalice will react to the presence of Wraithwall's lineage. Vaughn and the Sky Pirates do not know what they're stealing at this point.
No.
And Balthier says, hand it over, and Vaughn says no. And so they kind of like, all right, well, we need to get out of here together anyways. They fall down into the Garam Scythe Waterway, and they join the party, and then Balthier looks at the camera and says, Vaughn, can I tell you about the Gambit system? Which is very funny when the characters just start speaking in tutorials.
I love that shit. It's just like, hey, you know something really useful I could have told you ages ago? Let's figure this out now.
Yeah.
Weave it into the story.
You don't get a ton of Gambits right now anyways.
No.
It's fine, though. We get introduced to Ash or Amalia. Turns out the Resistance were also coordinating an attack at the same time as everything else. And Vane actually wanted this to happen. He purposefully kind of like lowered defenses and made it like an obvious attack point.
So he could launch like intercontinental ballistic missiles on his own palace. Or his own, I should say.
Vane knows what he's doing. And Ash jumps into Vaughn's arms at this point.
Don't want to close my eyes.
Yeah, and Vaughn pees a little bit when he catches her.
Vaughn breaks out the animal crackers and runs it up her belly.
Here comes the tiger.
You all right?
Thank you.
I'm Vaughn. What's your name?
Amalia.
Amalia, huh? Nice to meet you. Huh?
Oh, now isn't that impressive?
Don't get any ideas. I said it's mine.
I'm afraid the jury's still out on that one.
You stole that?
Yeah.
Have you finished? When the guards don't report in, they'll come looking for us.
If they aren't already.
You should come with us. Better than being by yourself.
Very well.
What's wrong with her?
You have a lot to learn before we even get started on your thievery.
What's that mean?
Her character, I feel, is, pretty well written, well defined. She immediately looks at them and she's like, "You're thieves," and she just hates everyone right away.
Yeah.
She's a little posh.
Miffed.
Yeah, she's Silver Spoon a little bit, but she's also been believed dead for a while. She's leading resistance now.
Yeah.
She's not Princess Leia, but
She's Princess Leia.
she's Princess Leia. You get caught by Vane down here. Amalia is escorted away. We still don't know she's the princess. The characters.
But the characters don't know. This is also a conceit that I don't really like because that's bad storytelling. When you, as the person watching it, knows like the secret history and you're not discovering it along with the characters, I don't really think that works. I don't know anyone who could have been fooled into thinking that it wasn't the princess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Unless she would have changed her, they would have changed her appearance, or if they
she was
had given
wearing a
her
mask or something.
wearing a mask or something like that, like a chic kind of thing.
They couldn't do another set of twins though, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I remember Sheik being very surprising in Ocarina of Time when I found out that it was Zelda.
Our brains were smaller
Spoiler
then
alert.
too.
I miss being surprised by things.
We're just jaded now. We just know things.
We're just fucking old.
The end of Penguin surprised me. That's
Oh my
the
God,
end of the
really?
season of Penguin. I'm like, no.
Is this a sequel to the Batman?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, it's the best show this year outside of Shogun.
All right, I'm going to be watching it.
No, dude, the last episode, you can think you know what's going to happen, but the ending will get you. Yeah, and you get arrested. At this point,
I only watch Yellowstone because I'm old.
They think me some common thief.
Better than a common assassin.
These people have done nothing. Release them.
What are you doing?
Don't interrupt me. I'm thinking.
Wait!
Where'd
He
you
didn't
think
know
you
what he
were
was
going?
doing! You have to let him go! You have to!
Pinello! Sorry. That dinner will have to wait.
I told you.
That's enough!
Ah!
Leave him alone!
Hold on to this for me, would you? Just until I bring Vaughn back.
On your feet, you over here.
All right. Edgy, aren't we?
It's Balthier, my brother. What does that philanderer think he's doing? I was to kill Balthier, not those addle-pated Imperials.
yes, we get caught, and Pinello runs up, and she's like, "Vaughn, you fucking idiot." But Balthier, rather than get Pinello implicated, he steps inside, in front of her, gives her his handkerchief, and says, "Hold on to this for me." Mm-hmm. Like the coolest dude you've ever heard.
Suave.
Just very cool.
Yeah.
And then, but the problem is Bagamnon. I know what's going on here. Balthier. We don't know why Bagamnon hates Balthier or why he's chasing him.
Why did Greedo hate Han Solo?
Yeah.
Sky pirates be
Just
sky
some bad-
pirating,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Some bad deals went through.
Yes, with the Banga are tracking Balthier, though. At this point, we're in the Nalbana dungeons and the Barheim passage area. We're missing all our items. All the treasure chests are knots of rust. But we do get introduced to the judges for the first time when Gabranth walks in.
Maybe I'll wet my blade on you before I kill Balthier.
That's enough, Bagamnon.
A judge.
Judge?
The self-proclaimed guardians of law and order in Arcadia. They're the elite guard of House Solidor, which effectively makes them the commanders of the Imperial Army. If you ask me, they're more executioners than judges. Not a friendly lot, at any rate. What are they doing here?
Terrifying designs.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're like the iconography for the game.
And I believe it's this cover.
Like the logo?
Yeah, the logo, the Yoshitaka Amano background, there's a reason it's one of the judges because that's such an iconic design.
Mm-hmm. It must be a cool moment when you finally get that promotion to judge and you get to design your helmet because all their outfits are uniform in a sense you can tell that they're judges, but they're also like
unique to the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gabranth has like these gnarly like horns that come down on them. The judges are the guardians of law and order, effectively the Supreme Court and commanders of the army, elite guards of House Solidor. They can make decisions on the law on the fly.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Yes.
It's a good system, guys. We just got to get used to
Essentially,
it.
it's Trump's America right now.
Uh-huh.
And yeah. So the judges have the ability to say you're guilty, to exact punishment, no court needed. They are ultimate authority, and they're also the leaders of the army. At this point, we also learn about Bosch and Gabranth.
You have grown very thin, Bosch. Less than a shadow, less than a man. Sentenced to death, and yet you live? Why?
To silence Hondor. How many times must I say it?
Is that all?
Why not ask Vane himself? Is he not one of your masters?
We've caught a leader of the insurgents. She's being brought from Rabanasta, the woman Amalia. Who could that be? Such a faithful hound to cling so to a falling kingdom.
Better than throwing it away.
Throwing it away, as you threw away our homeland.
Gabranth confronting Bosch in a cage. And it was like, oh, you look like shit. I've been in a cage.
Yeah.
2 years.
And starved.
I still think he looks pretty damn handsome.
Yeah.
Still retaining a lot of muscle mass, which is actually
He
surprising.
probably does push-ups.
Yeah,
not a good beard.
No.
No.
You know what? You're right.
He has the chin beard. He doesn't have the connecting tissue.
I'm always surprised when I see that still.
Patchy skin in the cheeks, yeah.
Kind of like he has like a Joe Dirt thing going on.
I always say if you can't grow it, don't.
Yeah.
Problem is he doesn't have any good razors in there probably.
You could use a sharp stone.
I wonder if he's just in that cage most of the time.
Sure.
Well, our party is led here by Fran's nose because Viera can smell mist and she can smell like a spot where the mist is passing through.
They're also very sensitive to the effects of mist.
They go into like a rage.
Vaughn has a moment here where he sees Bosch and knows that's the guy who killed his brother, so he jumps on the cage and starts shaking it. Why'd you kill my brother?
He was like, settle down, asshole.
I do not.
Who's there?
This the place?
The mist is flowing through this room. It must be going somewhere.
You're no Imperials. Please, you must get me out.
It's against my policy to speak with the dead, especially when they happen to be Kingslayers.
I did not kill him.
Is that so? Huh. Glad to hear it.
Please, get me out. for the sake of Dalmasca.
Dalmasca? What do you care about Dalmasca? Everything that's happened is because of you! Everyone that's died, every single one. Even my brother. You killed my brother!
Quiet. The guards will hear.
I'm dropping it.
Pirates without a sky.
I did not kill your brother.
Cool it, cool it.
He does have a really cool voice, like him and Balthier. You just listen to a podcast. Like if Bosch and Balthier had their own podcast, I would listen to it all the time.
Yeah, and they would never have Von on as a guest.
No, never, never. Don't you ever. Don't
So
you
I
dare.
actually applied. I applied for a job that is voice acting.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, it's for an AI program.
Oh boy.
Are you going to be the new sound of Google Maps?
Well, I get paid $40 to $60 an hour if I get it.
If you get it. And for how many hours?
Well, here's the thing. I don't even have to submit like the funny voices I can do. It's called this podcast.
You've already got it all.
Yeah, it's already there.
You ride the cage down. Bosch explains he didn't kill the king, and Von's not having it. Balthier's like, it doesn't fucking matter, dude, because we need help getting out of here.
Yeah.
This is, I think, probably one of the better designed little dungeon areas. The fact that mimics eat electricity, and you actually are like, if the lights go out, there's more difficult zombie enemies. I think that all works pretty well.
I like where the environment actually plays into how the enemies react to it. It's a very elegant and really nuanced thing that not a lot of games do. Like, you ever like play like a game and you're like, there's one dungeon in this Zelda game that is just off the chain amazing because the gimmick actually works within it. And then the rest of them are just substandard dungeon crawling, and it kind of lowers how you feel about the game in total.
When they do the cool thing too early, and then they don't do any other iterations on it later on.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit what happens here too.
It's kind of a boner killer.
I feel like the bosses are all fairly unique, and they throw a lot of status effects and timers. But like as far as the dungeons go,
no,
it is what it is.
It's substandard.
Yeah,
for the most part.
I do like the world design. I like the way things look. I like the different enemy iterations in different like climates and geographies.
I think that their asset reusage is actually very elegant too.
Yes.
You can make the entire space feel new by shifting around certain models and playing up like where the stairs lead and how it kind of loops around.
There should be snow wolves up on the mountain, and there should be regular wolves down there. And the character models and the enemy models, I think the whole world looks very good.
It's very well animated, and it's kind of astonishing because they didn't have the mocap at the time. So these all had to be hand animated.
Yeah, I guess I don't know too much about how they did
yeah.
all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That is wild to think about.
I read a long article today about the localization process. And it was this dude, Alexander Smith, and one other guy. The English translation is quite a bit different than the Japanese one. They added the fact like different accents for different regions. That was their idea. And they were explaining how a lot of the dialogue in Japanese is written to be kind of more direct. The example they use is you speak to the chocobo vendor, and he says, you can rent a chocobo. It's a bird that you can ride, and enemies won't attack you, and it costs this much. And they're like, this totally isn't what someone would say, and it ruins the immersion. Vaughn knows what a chocobo is. So they wrote a guy saying some dude ran off without paying for his chocobo.
Oh.
And it's just like this really elegant way of explaining what's happening, but doing it in universe as a character.
The dialogue is very well written in this game. I would
100%.
argue better than the story itself. It's really hard to do dialogue well, as I'm sure anyone who's written anything is completely aware of. It's hard to just think of what someone would say to another person. Not just that, though. They don't reuse a lot of words, and they don't... they're not like, I am this character, I do this, we are doing the thing. It's always like, and then I had this feeling about it, and things change and shift. And
Bosch walks in a room and someone says Kingslayer.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't have to have, I'm Bosch and I did not kill the king. Yeah.
It's
Context clues go a long way, and I like it when a story doesn't hold your hand.
it still makes me wonder why this game isn't more popular within the canon.
This is the best Final Fantasy.
I disagree. But,
Main numbered ones, anyways.
It's it's the most unique, I would say,
nine
and
is
it's
still
the
my
one
favorite.
that kind of dared to be the most different.
And it's also the reason that a lot of the series fell off because it took too long to make.
Yeah, it did.
well, you know, it.
Well,
now
and it
we
was
get
such a strong departure from 10. You know, I would like. I think we talked about that last episode where it was like the difference between 10 and 12. It was hugely different in terms of like just setting. You know, 12 lost a lot of the campiness that the series was very well known for up until that point.
Yeah.
So
10 was a lot of people's first Final Fantasy my age.
yeah.
It either you played 7 or you caught up with 7 later, but 10 was the one where people were talking about it and I hadn't played it, but I'd played the other ones. And I was just like, tell me what happens in it. And then they describe how your dad's a big whale man. And I was like, that sounds pretty cool.
And you've actually been dead the whole time.
Yeah. Didn't get that spoiled for me. It felt good.
12's a little bit too ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
if it would have came out new now,
I think with like modern graphics, this game would fly.
yeah.
Well, at this
100%.
point, people weren't as familiar with MMOs, at least the main Final Fantasy population. And the Gambit system, you can't explain that to someone in a simple way.
No, yeah.
And even then, they want to resist you. I know, like Penny Arcade, when this came out, they made a comic like just telling Mario to jump on Goombas for you. Is that fun? And I see the resistance. I see where people are coming from. Like, you don't want a game to play itself until you realize that you're like a tactician and
You're a programmer.
Yeah, you're programming.
You get
battles,
to it's like it's like setting up a Hot Wheels track and then watching the car go down the Hot Wheels track. Still just as entertaining. You can't drive a Hot Wheels car, but it's fun to watch. And
Keep in mind, this was at the time too when this game came out that everyone was tired of the whole time active, the active time battle system.
where they're all lined up.
Yeah, and they're all just like waiting for commands the whole time. A lot of people were kind of getting into more faster action paced games. So this is Square Enix's way of, you know, kind of keeping up with the times of just making the action a little bit more fluid, a little bit more faster.
It was definitely more innovative than what I would describe 13 as being.
Yeah.
Where 13 is kind of a game where you allow the game to shift, but really, honestly, if they're auto battling, all you have to do is switch between your paradigms. And that's basically what the game is. And then it's how you shift between them. This was much more successful. It still has what I would describe as that Final Fantasy, like joie de vivre, that was totally missing for me from 13.
Never heard that phrase before, joie de vivre.
yeah, you have.
No, I don't think I have.
Not from old Dallin.
Not from Dallin. That's
Not
for
from
sure.
old Dallin.
Old Dallin. Take this sword.
I don't know. Yeah.
We get out of the Barheim Passage and we get back to Rabanastre, and everyone's like, all right, bye. Bosch just walks into the city, and I'm like, dude, you're like...
A wanted man.
Why do you say
he's
Rabanastre?
He's believed to be dead.
Isn't it Rabanastre?
No, it's Rabanastre.
It's Rabanastre.
Okay, all right. You just say it like Southern. Rabanastre.
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 I got to say this, too. There are so many white guys for a place that looks extremely Arabic.
Yeah, right. 100%. 100%.
Besides old Dylan, there's no one there that looks Arabic. Yeah, Bosch just walks off, and Balthier and Fran, at this point, he says, you can keep that fucking stone. That thing's trouble. And he's like, I'm going to the bar. Very cool. Vaughn goes downstairs, and old Dylan, he's already aware. He's like, I know Bosch is here. I'm not a dummy. And he asks Vaughn to deliver the sword of the old order to Vossler to remind him of the pact Bosch and him made. At this point, we do run into Bosch and the Resistance. And they're like, dude, we do not trust you. And Bosch's like, I don't care. I'm
Doing it anyway.
doing it anyway.
Doing it anyway.
They don't want to help him, but Amalia has been taken by the Empire, and Bosch wants to help rescue her. Since Vossler won't be convinced, he wants to seek Balthier's help, and he seeks Bujerba to speak with its leader, Marquis Andor, a secret resistance sympathizer, despite being a fake ally to the Emperor.
I love his accent.
Marquis?
The whole like German accent.
Yes. He's also our narrator we get in the little interstitials.
Yeah,
That's cool, though.
but unfortunately,
I don't know. He's got a little bit of Dorn to him. If you read the Song of Ice and Fire books, where they don't do anything, he thinks he's so smart and planning the whole time, but by never making a decision, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot too, because he's the one who faked Ash's and Bosch's death. He is the one that, like, he's pretending the whole time to be on board with Vane. I don't know. He's got his feet on both sides of the line, and I think he kind of fails.
Yeah, I don't think he really does anything meaningful within the storyline. He's just there to just be like, hey, I'm technically on your side, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
It reminds me of early Game of Thrones, Varys.
Yeah. I love Varys.
Because he might as well just be the storyteller of the whole entire show.
Well, we also don't know.
Because he knows the most information.
We don't know what Varys is really up to in the books anyways. The show's like, fucking ruined him.
He's just a guy. He's just a big bald man.
I don't have any balls anymore. That's his whole character.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of something clever to say, and I'm like, no balls. That's already pretty funny.
More trans propaganda in our media.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
At the Sandsea Tavern, Magella was accosting Balthier and Fran. He says, you're the reason Penella was kidnapped.
Damn.
So this convinces Vaughn to join as well.
Great.
And so they're like, we're all going to Bujerba to find Penello and Ash. And you get to see the Strahl, which is our airship for the...
I love the Strahl.
It's a test combat model. Only one was made due to the costly dual movable wing design, scheduled for scrapping despite being
awesome
and too expensive.
How is this not... Ah, man, it's just so like Star Wars, but they're like, oh no, we didn't take any inspiration from Star Wars. Like, you sure?
Balthier stole
it's like
the
a
ship.
hamburger with a radar on it.
Perfect. It's like, like a hamburger.
It's great. Don't you love Americana?
It's called jizz. It's jizz music.
It's jizz.
Jizz.
You know what that means, George? Nope, never done it.
He stole the ship and modified it quite a bit. In Bujerba, we fly to Bujerba. We quickly run into a little boy named Lamont.
The Lusu mines are just up ahead. Though, I do hear there's not much left there these days.
You're on your way to the mines? Then please allow me to accompany you. I have an errand to attend to there.
What manner of errand?
What errand? I might ask the same of you.
Right. Come on then.
What? Excellent.
Do me a favor and stay where I can keep my eye on you. Should be less trouble that way.
For us both.
So what's your name?
Oh, I'm Lamont.
Don't worry. I don't know what's in that mine, Lamont, but you're in good hands.
Lamont.
Controversial decision for them to actually hire a child actor because child actors are expensive. The kid crushes it though. I think
he does. Yeah.
I think Larsa is a very well written character.
Lamont / Larsa for the listeners out there.
I think that actually child acting is relatively easy because kids don't really have like the intonation of adults to begin with. So it's just like, just say it like you're talking to a friend, and they're just like, oh, I'm a little boy and I really don't like peeing my pants.
And that's why I wonder, like, do they have a say in like how, like, obviously, like, child lines are written by adults. So, like, do the children say, like, I don't think I'd want to say it that way? Do they have that kind of autonomy?
I bet you $1 million they do.
I would hope they would, because that would lend it more to its authenticity. Like, yeah, this is actually what a kid would say, I guess.
I love, there's a video of Trey Parker with South Park with his daughter telling her to like do the lines for the kindergartners, like say suck my balls. And they're just so happy together. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Child acting just requires a more deft directing. And I don't know, I know with like
a lot of takes.
With The Shining, the actor for Danny Lloyd, they had a whole separate person coach him and like kind of make it fun to learn his lines, and then between takes would like kind of keep his energy up by playing with him.
I also like the fact that they hid that it was a horror movie from him.
There's allegedly a PG cut that they showed him.
Really?
Oh, wow.
That's fucking cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. it's half an hour
I wonder
long.
if he still knows. Does he know now?
He was in Dr. Sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to hide now.
Yeah, I would say so.
People are still just like lying to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they telling him Dr. Sleep is just a, story about a really good doctor?
Yeah, it's about going to bed.
It's a feel-good story.
Lamont overhears that we are heading to Lushu Mines, where Bagamnon's gang has a hideout, and he wants to tag along, and Balthier is the only one who's like, well, this kid's clearly not being honest, but it's okay. This is where I stop and level up for a while in the Lushu Mines.
Yeah, it's the first place you can really grind.
And there's
the enemies are difficult at first, but once you gain like those critical levels,
those chain levels, dude.
Yeah.
And there's that one bridge where they keep respawning.
Yes, yeah. And there's actually some good loot down there too.
Yeah, especially after you chain level enough, because then they just only drop rare items, and then you go sell them. So this is where I not only get a little over leveled, but I also
get some cash.
I can afford some stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with Stoy about this part of the game. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I only had two.
The first really good place to grind.
Yes, I had a different point, but I completely fucked it. It's fine.
Yes, we run into outside of or heading into the Lushu Mines. We see Judge Geese, captain of the Dreadnought Leviathan. He's inspecting the mines with Marquis Ondor. And inside,
I keep wanting to say Marquis.
That is the correct pronunciation.
It is, but
many times Marquis is a pronunciation in some areas.
See that it just
I like the language in this game.
I do too.
I like deifacted. I like manufacted. I like Dynast King. I like that it's got a different flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It does make the terms a little confusing, but
well, I know what manufacted means without. If it was just like
deifacted is easy. God,
yeah.
God made nethicite.
Yep.
At this point, we run into Magicite excavation site. That's a mouthful. Larsa pulls out a piece of manufactured nethicite, and this confirms his suspicion that Draclor Laboratory is using the mines for secret research on making nethicite. And Balthier's like, "The fuck did you just say?"
And then he's like, "Here, Penelo, hold this."
Yeah, this is dangerous. Yes. Penelo, I want you to have.
I want you to hold this. Okay.
Your little hands can handle it better than me.
This is what I came here to see.
What's that?
It's nethicite, manufactured nethicite.
Nethicite?
Unlike regular magicite, nethicite absorbs magical energy. This is the fruit of research into the manufacture of nethicite. All at the hands of the Draclor Laboratory. So this is where they're getting the magicite.
Errand all attended to, then?
Thank you. I'll repay you shortly.
No, you'll repay us now. We have too much on our hands to go on holding yours. So, where did you hear this fairy tale about nethicite? And where did you get that sample you carry? What do you know about the Draclor Laboratories? Tell me, who are you?
Balthier?
You kept us waiting, Balthier! First the judge and now this boy. The whole affair has a smell of money about it. I may have to wet my beak a little.
Keep your snout in the trough where it belongs.
At this point, Bagamnon attacks the party, and Bagamnon shows up. It was a trap.
It's a trap. Whoa.
Balthier.
I got you,
Balthier.
Look at my saw spear.
You are advised to run away. You can fight the 4 Banga here if you want. It doesn't matter either way.
I just run,
yeah.
On the outside, Judge Geese has captured Penelo and is furious the party is wandering throughout the mines, but Larsa comes to Penelo's aid and escorts her to Marquis Ondor's estate. Larsa reveals himself as who he is and kind of prevents the party from getting hurt too much. We need to get Marquis Ondor's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Bosch, and Vaughn's like, hold my beer. I got a plan.
Great.
He starts rubbing his nipples and screaming.
Ooh.
I'm Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg of Dalmasca. Bosch lives. Don't listen to Ondor's lies. I'm the Bosch von Ronsenberg. I'm Captain Bosch.
So Bosch von Ronsenberg does yet live.
Okay.
For those in listener land, we were rubbing our nipples, all of us.
Now, he could just say, Bosch lives. He could say, don't listen to Andor's lies. That's enough. If you have somebody out there saying, President Biden lies, well, this is a bad example. Because
it's called Let's Go Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
No, but if you have, I'm trying to think of a good example. If you walk into an establishment and you start saying the owner is an asshole, fuck this person, they're lying about something, someone's going to talk to you right away.
Yeah.
But if you walk in there and you say, as a 14-year-old looking boy with rosy cheeks, I'm a 36-year-old man, I'm not dead, people might think you're a crazy person and not be likely to believe you.
Yeah.
I'm specifically thinking
This
about
part of the
one
game
homeless
confused
lady.
the hell out of me because it was like, how the hell is this? How is this a plan?
There was a very homeless lady, and when I worked at the cheese shop,
She was very homeless. The
Not
cheese
just
shop
homeless,
is now a
her.
bar.
Yeah, I know.
We went there Friday.
Really?
Miles runs the cocktail spot.
Are you fucking
runs the
kidding
bar?
me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what a world!
Hill Valley Dairy.
Hill Valley Dairy.
Yeah.
Nice. What the fuck?
It's a good bar.
Well, I love Ron. Does he sell the cheese?
They we went there and every cocktail you order is paired with cheese without like you just get a piece of cheese with
That's
every.
dope as shit. I
How
didn't even
Wisconsin?
realize.
It just opened like a week ago.
I'm getting old.
Wow.
This sucks. I miss Clock Shadow.
I'm old Dylan.
I'm old Dylan.
That's if I walked into Cintas and started screaming, "I'm Dylan." People be like, "We don't know who you are, and you're not."
I'm Dylan Von Bosch of Milwaukee.
You know, some people would actually be like, "You got glasses. That's pretty great."
I don't think it is, but I don't know enough about Dylan to be sure.
They know enough about me. I'm like, I'm autistic. I didn't tell anyone.
But then I have a podcast. They're like, it's got to be him.
Like, oh, you're autistic. You don't like making eye contact. I'm like,
Everybody
no, I
around
don't.
you's like, oh, we already knew that.
I'm old Dylan.
No, but this old lady comes in and she's like, she's dressed to the nine in like this big jacket and it's the middle of winter. And she sits down and she's like, oh, interesting. She just wanted a nice place to sit. She starts talking and then she's like, I teach a bunch of kids. And I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, you clearly do not. You have she had a dirt mark all down the side of her face from, I don't know, sleeping on the ground. And I was just like, no, I don't believe that. That's Vaughn.
That's Vaughn. Vaughn is the the very homeless lady.
He's not even that cool.
No.
Oh, no, he's way better than her.
We do get a meeting with Marquis Andor. He's like, you can't be running around saying you're Bosch von Ronsenberg. You're a 14-year-old kid.
No one's going to believe you.
Bosch tells Geese that Amalia is held captive on the ship and seeks help. But Andor, he doesn't tell Geese. Andor cannot risk compromising his position. Instead, he captures the party and has them sent to Geese, saying he has caught the escaped prisoners. So, Penelo and Ash are on board the Dreadnought Leviathan. And at this point, Andor captures you and has you going to have you sent to Geese as prisoners.
Warp, warp.
Now, on the Leviathan, Geese, Amalia, and brought before Judge Geese and Amalia, her identity is revealed. Everyone's like, she's the princess.
Whoa.
Vaughn's like, whoa.
Can I just talk about Geese for a second?
Please.
He's a fucking dork.
What?
I hate him.
I don't like him either.
He's not even intimidating.
No.
I like Geese's little turn here, though, where he's like, I'm using the shard for myself. He tries to take power. The first moment he has something of power, he's like, fuck it, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
And he gets himself promptly killed and blows up the fleet.
Mm-hmm.
I love incompetence. I do love incompetence.
That is such an extreme
Sheer
level of
fucking
incompetence.
hubris.
Dude, he's in charge for fucking 5 minutes and destroys the fleet.
Majesty.
After what you've done, how dare you? You're supposed to be dead.
Come now, come now. Have you forgotten your manners? This is hardly the courtesy due the late Princess Ashalia Benargin Dalmasca.
Princess?
To be sure, she bears no proof of her former station, no different than any mean member of the insurgents.
The Resistance.
His Excellency the Consul asks the ministry of the dethroned royal family in restoring peace to Dalmasca. Those who foster instability and unrest, who claim royal blood without proof, they shall meet their fate at the gallows. There are no exceptions.
I will not play puppet to Vane.
King Ramanas entrusted me with a task. Should the time come, he bade me give you something of great importance. It is your birthright, the Dusk Shard. It will warrant the quality of her blood. Only I know where to find it.
What?
Vaughn, that stone.
It was in the palace treasure.
Well, well.
Splendid. You've brought the stone with you. This spares us a great deal of trouble.
Don't give it to him!
Vane Solidor, what fascination does this hold for you?
Ash recognizes Bosch as the Kingslayer, killed her father. She's immediately pissed, and Vaughn's like, wait a second.
Hang on.
I don't think it was him. It was his brother.
Yeah.
Bosch offers to trade their freedom for the Dusk Shard. He's unaware that Vaughn has it in his pocket. This is a whole lot of coincidence, and Vaughn just pulls the shard out.
That's what I'm kind of like confused about. Like, did they not search him when they took him hostage, when they captured him?
You think
they didn't just pat him down?
It's not like a little thing either. It's the size of a stone.
Exactly. It's like he can hold it in both his hands.
I could throw that and knock somebody out.
Yeah. Like, they didn't just be like, oh, we got this sword here. We got some random rock in his pocket. Whatever. We can just keep it, give it to him back. Like, come on, really?
If they're checking for guns, they're checking for stones.
They're checking for rocks. Weird glowing rocks.
But yeah, Vaughn's stolen treasure begins to glow, revealing Ash's true identity.
Whoa.
The shard is taken and the party confined. Vossler rescues the party.
Mm-hmm.
Vossler is there. He helps you escape.
Yay.
I
love and hate that man.
He means well. He's trying to do what's best for Dalmasca.
And he's really confused. He's morally confused because he has his ups and downs throughout the story because he wants to do right, but he has strange motivations.
Misguided notions.
That's a better way of saying it.
Vossler is a guest character, a pure guest, not like before when you had Bosch temporarily join or Ash temporarily join. Vossler is a guest, and different in the Zodiac Age is you can actually set gambits for them and control what they do. You can't change to that character specifically as a party leader, but this utility makes them way more useful. And you can tell them what to do. Like if you don't want Vossler to ever use this item or to do that spell, you can adjust that. Ash will officially join. At this point, all of the
characters fucking long enough.
Well, she was kind of a prisoner.
Yeah.
No, unacceptable. I hold women to a higher standard.
She knew what she was doing.
Penelo and Larsa are encountered as well. He seeks a peaceful resolution and helps the party escape. Larsa's still trying to convince himself that his family's not the bad people.
He's like, no, we really aren't.
Yeah, Vane is he can be a douche.
He's got a douchey haircut.
He killed my older brothers, but it's fine.
It's very funny because if you look at the back of the collector's edition, it's literally just like a nice little boy.
Yeah.
And then in the back, it's just Vane being like,
that's
clearly
just how
not Jafar.
That's just how he is.
His nails on the table.
No, that's just how he is.
It's just like, he's fine though. He didn't, my other brothers, they just died in war.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Vane definitely was involved in getting his brothers killed. Larsa gives Penelo with a piece of manufactured nethicite to remember him.
Fucking why?
Bad.
Here you go, 16-year-old girl.
Take this dangerous rock.
It's speculated he
what
probably...
the fuck even is this?
It's
That's officially Penelo's voice.
It could be
from now on.
It could be that he didn't want to get caught with something he stole from Draclor. I don't know though.
What's the grand plan in giving fucking Penelo a dangerous piece of magic?
Right,
Here's the nuclear codes, Penelo.
Yeah.
Hang on to this to remember me by.
You remember how they blew up a whole fleet?
We fight Judge Geese. This is our first judge battle. And
not as hard as I remember.
Vossler stays behind to guarantee their escape. We do get an interlude with Marquis Andor. He is our narrator, and he's writing everything from the future. So it's him writing down, kind of like how Tactics has a Laslam Andor, which is actually his descendant.
Really?
Is the person keeping the history in Tactics as well.
Yeah, they do that in Tactics Advanced. They also do it in Dragon's Story.
Dragon
or Vagrant
Quest?
Story.
Okay. Dragon Story. I'm like, is there another RPG series?
Dragon Story is the most bland title you could give anything.
And at this point, we're going to end this episode. We're going to jump right back in. But Stoy, if our listeners wanted to check out your wonderful podcast, how could they do so?
I run a solo podcast that I just started a couple months ago called Retro XP. I talk a lot about retro video games. My last episode, I talked about how this could be controversial for some people, but I think the Xbox Series X is the best place to play retro video games.
You know, I think that they probably care more about retro games than the Nintendo does.
100%.
Here, we stole an emulator online.
And the reason why I say that is that you can actually still buy physical copies of games and play them on your new system, like all the way back to the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So, I mean, granted, I think there's only like 60 original Xbox games that you could actually play on your system, you know, if you had the physical disc. But, you know, still that's a lot more than what Nintendo and, you know, Sony does.
Game preservation is a huge thing, and I think it's completely undervalued because there's going to come a point where a lot of, especially like these multiplayer games, nobody's going to have access to them. They're just going to be distant memories. They're experiences that won't exist anymore.
Yeah, and I think that was the kind of onus and why I wanted to do a podcast like this, because it's like you know, as an old man, like remembering these things, you know, old man,
Old
like
Stoy.
old Stoy. Dude, there's old Dylan, and there's old Stoy. But
you could not be a protagonist in a Final Fantasy game right now, dude.
No,
you are the extremely cool other character.
Yeah, I'd still be the guy handing old swords to people and say, "Deliver this to someone."
We all wish that we were Balthier and Bosch, but we're all just Mogellos and old Dylans.
Yep, we're just relegated to the sidelines.
I have a shop.
I'm just an old quest giver.
I can't climb the monkey bars.
You can't climb a monkey bars. You're too old. Your bones.
I left my old sacred stone at the bottom of this slide, and I can't make it up the stairs.
It looks like it would bang me around too hard.
And special thanks for our executive producers on Patreon: Ryan, Christy, Nick, Kipper, Brian Ward, Jordan Hoff, Phil Wright, Phil Just Phil, Bryant Ross, Kelly Gutowski, Justin Melly, and Imagine Wagon 69420. If you want access to the conclusion of our Final Fantasy XII series, you will need patreon.com/Hair of the Dogcast. That will be, you can even do the free trial to get access to it. We're totally cool with that and we recommend it. But check it out on Patreon. Otherwise,
I think you might like it.
You just might.
People generally stick around, and we have a great community on Discord. We'd love to have you there as well.
Everyone's super nice. We welcome you with open arms.
And our quest for cool ice continues. We will see you next time.
Jaguar.